Tonight on Sports Desk, we'll take you live to the women's basketball team's matchup against Alabama State. Roll with the punches at one of South Miami's most unique gyms and pedal with some students as they train for a huge challenge. All that and more, Sports Desk starts right now.
This is Andre Johnson. You're watching Sports Desk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former guy. You're watching Sports Desk.
I'm Ken Dorsey, and you're watching Sports Desk.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Sports Desk. I'm David Perez.
And I'm Isaiah Kim Martinez. So last week the girls took over, but this Friday is about the guys.
Yeah, Isaiah, it's a guys show, but as much as we'd like it to be, that's not the only big news of the day. The football frenzy may have calmed down for now in South Florida, but a former Cane grabbed national attention.
Yeah, David, arguably the greatest return men ever, made a huge announcement this week. A Miami Hurricane legend hung up his cleats on Tuesday. Former wide receiver Devin Hester announced his retirement from the NFL. He is ranked as the best punt and kick returner in league history. Hester made sure to shout at his alma mater over Twitter, saying, quote, "I want to thank the place that did so much to define my career, the U. Every single Sunday, no matter where I was playing, I went out there with the attitude you can only learn at Miami. Always act like you're the best player on the field, then back it up." Hester currently owns the record for most career punt returns in NFL history and totaled 20 return touchdowns in 11 seasons.
It's been just under 2 weeks since the Hurricanes lost in the ACC Championship game, but now all the focus shifts to preparing for Miami's first Orange Bowl since 2004. Their opponent, the number 6 ranked Wisconsin Badgers. Our In the Trenches team is here to preview the end of the year matchup. Guys?
Welcome to In the Trenches. I'm your host, Alex Manella. He is Josh White, and we're here to break down Hurricanes football. Now, Josh, the number 10 ranked Miami Hurricanes find themselves in an Orange Bowl matchup against the number 6 ranked Wisconsin Badgers. Now, both teams found themselves in the top 4 at some point in the season, had college football playoff hopes, ultimately wound up losing in their respective championship games, and then wind up in the Orange Bowl. How do you think this game is going to go for the Hurricanes?
Yeah, Alex, like you said, two very, very similar teams. Not only just their schedules, how it's gone down, but also the personnel they have on the field. If we look at the schedule-wise, you talk about the Hurricanes, they started off 10-0, then they dropped their last 2 games on the road at Pittsburgh, then in the ACC Championship game against Clemson. Wisconsin's very similar. Undefeated regular season, their only loss against Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship game. They're the runner-up of the Big Ten, therefore they're in the Orange Bowl against the runner-up of the ACC Miami, so it's going to be a great matchup. 2 teams that rely on the run first with 2 good defenses. We'll see how it all goes down.
Now, speaking of that run game, that is going to be the key to this one here, specifically Wisconsin's rush attack against Miami's run defense. How do you think that's going to fare for the Hurricanes?
Yeah, when you talk about Wisconsin, their offense goes and starts with Jonathan Taylor, the freshman tailback. He's been so good, over 1,800 rushing yards, over 12 touchdowns solely on the ground. And when you think about it, he's only a freshman, so he's only going to get better. It's crazy to think what he's done in that one season. Now, for Miami, they got some talent on the defensive side as well. That front 7, a lot of NFL talent. Shaq Quarterman in the middle there, Kendrick Norton, RJ McIntosh, guys that really stuff the run game up the middle. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor tries to break it to the outside, try and test guys like Chad Thomas and Joe Jackson. Now, if you flip it over on the other side, the Hurricanes' offensive rushing attack, that's pretty good too. Mark Walton went out for the injury, out for the season with an ankle injury. Travis Homer's done a nice job filling in, but Malik Rozier adds another element with his legs as well. The Hurricanes had Brad Kaye, he was pretty immobile, and now they add Rozier, so a nice rushing attack on either side with 2 great defenses.
Now, this game has all the implications of a close matchup. How do you think this one is going to go?
Yeah, Alex, they're very similar teams. They both like to run the ball. They're both nitty-gritty when it comes to defense, both top 5 in most defensive categories across the country. I think the Hurricanes squeak by. I think they win 24-21. I think Michael Badgley collects a field goal in his final game at Hard Rock Stadium, and the Hurricanes pull out on top.
So if the Hurricanes do wind up winning here, who is going to be your MVP in this game?
I think it's got to be Braxton Berrios. His final game at Hard Rock Stadium, you know what they say. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games, and that's what Berrios is going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a touchdown or 2 and the Hurricanes win this one.
We'll have to see come December 30th. That's all the time that we have. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. Freshman Lonnie Walker broke out for a career-high 26 points in the Canes' last game against Boston University. His performance turned some heads. Walker was named ACC Rookie of the Week this past Monday. He scored 18 of his 26 points in the second half and hit 4 three-pointers. Walker started in place of sophomore guard Bruce Brown, who is out for at least another week with a hand injury. Walker is Miami's highest-ranked recruit ever, and many expect him to be a first-round pick in the 2018 NBA Draft. He's averaging nearly 10 points and 3 rebounds a game so far this season. A backcourt of Walker, Brown, and senior Jaquan Newton is regarded as one of the best in the country.
The women's basketball team is playing the last of a 7-game homestand tonight against Alabama State. The Hornets have a 1-7 record. The Canes just tipped off, and UMTV reporter Brianna Nesbral is at the Watsco Center to tell us more. Brianna, how's it looking out there?
Thanks, David. Yes, I'm live here at the Watsco Center where the game has just tipped off. Now, the women's team has had a pretty inconsistent season thus far, so they're really going to need a big performance from the freshmen to get that W. Alabama State hasn't had the best record this season, but they can't underestimate them. The Canes really need to stay focused in order to avoid that upset. Now, tonight's a big night for the Canes, and we have a representative from Category 5 to tell us why. So why is it such a big night for the Canes?
So tonight's our silent night game. What that means is we're going to be really, really quiet until they score 8 points. When they score 8 points, we're going to go crazy, throw up confetti. It's going to be a great time. 2 years ago, we did it. We set the student attendance record. We're trying to do that again this year and come out with a win.
All right, thanks. So the current score is 2-0 Miami, so be sure to come watch the game right after Sports Desk. Live at the Watsco Center, I'm Brianna Nussbaugh. Boys, back to you.
Thanks, Brianna. The women's team improved to 6-3 this week and is coming off an impressive upset win against ranked Kentucky. As for the men's team, they play George Washington tomorrow afternoon in a homecoming for freshman Chris Likes. Our Hangtime crew breaks down both the men's and women's team and the progress they've made.
Hey guys, welcome to Hurricane Hang Time. I'm your host, Julia Heens, here with Tommy Sullivan and Max Trink. Max, for starters, the women's team had a big win this week.
Yeah, it was a huge game for the women's team coming off of a tough loss against St. John's. They really needed to prove that they can go into March and beat some big opponents in the tournament and go into ACC play as well. So Miami really needed to focus on getting Micaiah Gray back, and she really showed up in this game. A huge game for her, got back into double digits, which was a key part for the Canes team. They really needed that to spark some offense. India Banks came also through, and she really was a great part of this team also with fast break points. That's really how they scored the majority of the points, through fast breaks and through points to the paint. Erica Davenport was there. Huge blocks throughout the game, as well as a couple of rebounds. She has a double-double throughout the season already, and Miami really has relied on her throughout the majority of the games. And when it comes to Shanice Bailey getting her first start of the year, she was great. She got double digits as well, and Miami relied on their starters as a huge part of this game. Hopefully they'll do well and beat Alabama State tonight at the Watsco Center.
All right, and on the men's side, they have quite a few games over the university's holiday break.
Yep, that's right. They will have a few games over the break, starting tomorrow with a game against George Washington. A key into that game will be the fact that star player Bruce Brown is out and injured for the game. He has had a hand injury, so he'll be out for the game. So look for Lonnie Walker, who had a really great game, got some more minutes in Bruce Brown's place, to step up and really have a great game for the Canes. Also going to this game, look for DeJuan Hewell for the Canes to have a big game. He's really coming on this year as a sophomore. Came to the University of Miami as a highly rated recruit. Was a little bit low-key last year as a freshman, but he's really coming on strong now, really starting to show that ability that he has in the paint. Also for the Canes this year, DJ Vasiljevic coming on. We've all known he's a great shooter. He's been able to make a lot of threes, but really starting to develop his game beyond there. Can attack the paint now a little bit more, so he's had some really good shots. Tomorrow's game against George Washington will be a close one. George Washington's a very good team. They have some very good players. Yuta Watanabe for the Colonials is a very good player. He has a great paint presence for them, so that will be an interesting matchup for the Canes, so we're going to see how they look there. Also going into this break, the Canes will crack into their ACC schedule, so we're going to see how they look when that comes.
All right, guys, thank you so much. David and Isaiah, back to you.
Coming up, one UM coach has given her time to the Hurricanes for nearly 30 years, and she's finally being recognized for it. Find out who earned her spot in the Coaches Hall of Fame next.
pants peanut butter? A big screen television. You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
"18 UM student-athletes graduated yesterday at the Watsco Center. 4 Miami teams were represented with at least 1 fall graduate. Football led the way with 12, followed by track and field with 4, and volleyball and swimming and diving each had 1. Earlier this fall, Hurricane student-athletes posted a graduation success rate of 91%, which beats the national average of 86%. Miami is also tied for the 13th best rate among all football bowl institutions.
UM coach Amy Deem was inducted into the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Hall of Fame on Wednesday. Deem, who took over the program 27 years ago, has seen 14 of her teams win conference titles. Deem and the Canes have also gone to the NCAA championships, and her athletes have captured 14 national championships, while nearly 200 individuals have gone on to earn first-team All-America honors. Deem has also earned numerous individual coaching honors, including ACC Coach of the Year and South Region Coach of the Year as well.
Training for 1 sport at UM is difficult. Now try training for 3. UM's triathlon team swims, runs, and bikes. As they prepare for competitions next year, the Canes are using spin workouts to stay in shape. And they make sure to keep it fun. Maxwell Trink stopped by the Wellness Center to get the story.
When people think of Miami, they think of neon lights and loud music. Here at Club Norm in the Herbert Wellness Center, UM's triathlon team uses this Miami vibe in their workouts. These athletes make sure to stay in the best shape. The Tri-Canes focus on exercises that keep them active. One of them is cycling.
I love staying fit, and this was the most intense thing I could find, and so I got going with it, and I was hooked.
Feel it. You know your own thing, come on. Cycling trainer Jean-Philippe Chamy motivates his team and keeps them engaged in sessions.
Biggest part for me is music, so I really focus on building a playlist that has different genres of music, and then from there, fast paces, and then heavier paces, and then a break at each point, so they can really work their pace and their muscles.
After 5 minutes of this, I can assure you, this is one heck of a workout. The team has a range of participants, from beginners to pros, but all of them have developed a strong bond with each other.
This is a special breed of people that come out here. It's people who love to work. It's people who love to get in the grind and get things going. It makes for a lot of fun.
As the semester ends, this team is focused on staying fit and getting ready for competitions next semester. From the Herbert Wellness Center, I'm Maxwell Trink, UMTV.
While football and basketball have dominated the headlines in Coral Gables this fall, one South Miami gym is training for a more aggressive sport, ultimate fighting. And while the gym may be still taking off, its founder is as experienced as ever.
Gabriel Verona, also known as Senna, in the South Miami community, is motivating lives to become fit after an injury ended his MMA career.
2010, had a bad injury at an MMA fight. So pretty much I would still go to the gym every single day because I was bored. I had just had surgery, I had this big cast on my arm and I was freaking out. So just because I was in the gym every single day, my guys were like, yo, entertain yourself, do something. So they said, bro, you're always here. Might as well start training people, and started training people, and that's how I got into it.
Gabriel decided to take his skills and use them to train people, starting at the heart of South Miami.
So I picked South Miami because the style of training that I wanted to introduce was the boxing, the intensity, and the boot camps. There was nothing in this area. There was like CrossFit, spinning, but there was nothing of what I wanted to do. So in the warehouse areas of South Miami, aside from 67th Avenue, was, UM was right there, Coral Gables, South Miami, I was right there in that little niche, and I was able to do something that pretty much wasn't done yet, so that's why I really got into this area.
Gabriel's passion radiates throughout the South Miami community, even touching base with UM students.
Sunnis Fit is really close to UM. It's really convenient for students, and you can come in the mornings to work out with your girlfriends, or you can come at night for the more strength and cardio workouts. It's really special because it's kind of like a family vibe. Like, you're working out with all the same people you normally work out with. The owner, Gabriel's always there for training, and he's really helpful and motivates everybody to do their best and to like work for themselves and work out to be the best version of you that you can be in the gym.
Gabriel hopes by providing a facility that offers spinning, boxing, and indoor training, he'll be able to motivate others into joining the fit life. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Natalie Neusel.
And the New England Patriots' struggles in Miami continue. The Pats could not get it going against the Dolphins in a loss on Monday Night Football. But is this a bad sign for the future of Brady's bunch? We'll have the answer after the break. And now it's time for trivia. Last week, the Miami Hurricanes women's basketball team knocked off number 20 Kentucky, 65-54. When was the last time an unranked Canes squad upset a ranked opponent? Was it A, 2009, B, 2011, C, 2013, or D, 2015? The answer after this.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
So for Christmas break, what are you doing?
Well, I think
You guys excited, right? We're almost done.
Well, you know, I finish on Wednesday, so we'll see what happens.
As soon as I get there, the relaxation time starts.
Because of Irma, though, it's shorter.
As soon as that clock hits, done.
Yep. Because of Irma, it's shorter.
My dad's one of the producers, so he's there tonight.
Bring this week.
If you guessed D, 2015, you're right. Miami Hurricanes women's basketball team took down number 4 Notre Dame, 78-63, on January 4th, 2015. The Canes held the Irish to just 36% shooting from the field and ended Notre Dame's 30-game winning streak. Pro-Cane, Adrian Motley led UM with 32 points.
The Patriots have been the NFL's standard for greatness over the past decade, but even the best teams can have some hiccups. New England went through their latest one against Miami earlier this week. Should fans panic, though? Our analysts at Heads to Head have the answer.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Head to Head. I'm your host, Grace Smith, and I'm here with our analysts, Justin Stevens and Kylie Wang. Following the Miami Dolphins' upset win against the New England Patriots last week and the rise of other teams within the league, many are wondering, are the New England Patriots reaching the end of their dominance? Kylie?
It's over. It's all over. Tom Brady has reached his breaking point. This is the beginning of the end. There's nothing to detract from all the amazing things that he's done. He's definitely in the conversation for greatest of all time, but it's over. This is the end. We see it. We saw it Monday night. This is it. Xavier Howard picked him off twice.
You want to know something?
The same quarterback.
I was going to give you a little more time to talk, but I have to stop you right there. When you're talking about Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, and they lose one game?
What do you mean
they lose one game?
Remember the season opener in Foxborough?
Okay, and you remember how a couple of years ago when they lost horribly to the Chiefs in prime time, and everyone was like, oh, Patriots are done, and they weren't, and they go and win the Super Bowl.
They might not have been then, but they are now.
Tom Brady is leading the league in passing yardage. He has a team that is going to the playoffs, that will make a deep run in the playoffs. This week is possibly a AFC Championship game prelude.
Look, he could go on to win the Super Bowl this season, but it does not change the fact that he's still on the decline. Yes, he has weapons surrounding him. Yes, he has an amazing coach in Bill Belichick, but this is the end of it. This is the end of everything.
Timeless Tom Brady is going to be around for a while, and he's going to be here for at least another 5 years.
5 years? Let me just deflate that argument right now, okay? I don't care what you think of him. I don't care how well he takes care of his body. The man is 40 years old, and this, you cannot play at the same level at 40 years old that you did when you were 32.
Hypothetically, if the Pats' reign were up, who would be the next team in the league to take the dominance?
The Cleveland Browns. When you have a young core of Josh Gordon, Corey Coleman, Duke Johnson, and Miami alum Chief David Njoku, and then you take their defense with their astounding leader, Jamie Collins, you have a young core to build around. They have a great O-line as well.
All right,
they are ready for the future.
I don't want to hear about the Cleveland Browns anymore. I'll tell you, it's going to be these young teams with these young quarterbacks. You've got Deshaun Watson for the Texans. You've got Carson Wentz for the Eagles. You have Jared Goff for the Rams.
Mike Trubinsky with the Chicago Bears, of course.
Of course, Trubisky, True Blue. These teams are all going to start taking off, and they will usurp Tom Brady's position.
Well, we can only look to the future to determine what it's going to look like. We wish you all happy holidays. Back to you at the desk.
On Monday, the MLB dropped its biggest trade news of the offseason. The Miami Marlins traded National League MVP Giancarlo Stanton to the New York Yankees. This is seen as the first step of a total rebuilding process under new ownership, led by Derek Jeter. Simon Lehrer tells us why the deal works for both sides on this week's Simon Says.
The Big Apple just got a little bigger. National League MVP Giancarlo Stanton is heading to the Bronx, joining fellow giant of a human being Aaron Judge on a Yankees team reminiscent of the evil Empire days. The New York Yankees, the team with the most home runs in the majors this past season and one win short of a World Series appearance, just added the best home run hitter of this generation. Giancarlo Stanton is a superstar, one that baseball hasn't fully gotten to treasure yet while he's been tucked away on years of irrelevant Marlins teams. But even in Miami, if you watch the evolution of their franchise over the past few years, you would know that Giancarlo Stanton is somebody you build a team around. Somebody for who you write out a 13-year, $325 million contract with a full no-trade clause, the only one of its kind in baseball history. The Marlins committed 3 years ago to starting with Giancarlo and taking it from there. It makes perfect sense to me that Derek Jeter's first order of business as CEO and co-owner of the Marlins was to push the restart button. Jeter is used to championships, and you can't build a championship around one player, especially if you commit nearly half your payroll to him. The Marlins are starting from scratch. Think early 1990s Yankees, who were terrible for a few years while putting together a farm system with Andy Pettitte, Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada, and yes, Derek Jeter, that would go on to win 4 World Series in 5 years. The Marlins could very well get there someday, but it's going to take a while, and it's going to need patience. You know who doesn't need to be patient? The Yankees, who just became the best team in baseball, and in my opinion, the instant World Series favorite. A lineup with the 2 best power hitters in the league likely hitting back-to-back is just scary. Gary Sanchez hitting right behind them is, well, still scary. This team is ready to win now, and it's about time, right? Baseball's most marketable team just became somehow even more marketable. Maybe nobody wants to see the evil empire win, but people sure want to see the evil empire. Attendance, ratings, wins, it's all on the up. It feels like the good old days in the Bronx, and you can thank Derek for that. That's what Simon says.
Still to come, Mark Richt is responsible for how the Canes look on the gridiron, but one loyal fan is responsible for how they look off the field. This Miami local has become the VIP for the team. We'll tell you the story when we return.
Learning how to kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
For today's play of the day, let's turn it to college basketball. Number 24 ranked Texas Tech hosted Kennesaw State Wednesday. And in the second half, the Red Raiders pulled off one of the most awkward but effective fast breaks you'll ever see. So here we have the Red Raiders with a huge lead at home. The big reason for that? Defense. The steal there. David Moretti throws it up right there to Zaire Smith for the slam. How did he get that to go? Let's watch it again. Let's run it back. You see him bobbling the ball. Uh-oh. No, he gets it right there. Zaire Smith stretches it back all the way. Look at the arm right here. All the way back for the slam. But Texas Tech would go on to win 82-53. And that is your play of the day.
The turnover chain isn't the only fashion statement coming out of the Hurricanes football team, but you have to look under the helmet to see this one. This loyal barber redefines what it means for the Canes to look good and play good.
Another clean cut completed by the Canes barber. But before earning that title, he was just Steven Rivera, born and raised in Miami.
I came from a low income family, so I couldn't really afford haircuts like all the other kids could or whatnot.
He watched his mother give haircuts and eventually started practicing on his own head. While working as a correctional officer, Rivera met former Canes football player Ja'Cory, who would go to the jail to visit his brother. They became friends, and one day Ja'Cory asked Rivera who cut his hair.
And I was like, I cut my own hair. I didn't think nothing of it because, that wasn't what I wanted to do in life. And then I ended up cutting his hair.
Amazed by the talent, Ja'Cory invited him to meet the Hurricanes team.
Ended up going to campus, setting up, and next thing you know, I just got football players coming, basketball players, and then it got real big right when the students found out.
But it wasn't until 2008 when Rivera really made it big. Ja'Cory was playing on the field when he took off his helmet, sporting one of Rivera's haircuts.
And at the end of the game, the sideline reporter, Erin Andrews, she interviewed me, and she asked me about my haircut. And at the time, it said, "You swag." And then she was like, "Who did that?" And I was like, "My boy Canes barber."
That was all it took for the Canes barber to get noticed nationwide. Although Steven has had a great amount of help and support along the way, he attributes a lot of his success to his mentor, Juice, at Heads Up Barbershop. South Florida barber Juice was watching the news when he saw a story about the Canes barber. Rivera had just been hired as the official barber for the Miami Dolphins team.
And I think one day I just reached out to him on social media, and we spoke, and after that, man, one day he came by, to meet me and stuff, and I was like, our stories are so similar.
They worked together for quite some time. Still friends, Rivera went solo, cutting hair from his home, at the university campus, and for professional football players. His clients may be big money ballers, but Rivera says he lets them name their price.
I go cut a big time athlete, and a lot of them get taken advantage of, so I don't have a set price for any athlete. Whatever they give me, I'll do it.
With UMTV, I'm Naya Tanel.
Let's move to the NBA, where the Dallas Mavericks took on the Golden State Warriors in Oakland last Thursday. Things got a little out of hand, but luckily Kevin Durant was there to save the day and show some courtside love. It all began with a pass from Devin Harris to Antonius Cleveland. The only problem is Harris's pass goes way past him, never makes it to him. Instead, it lands in the stands and smacks one courtside fan on the way. Luckily, Durant and Jordan Bell are there close by to swoop in and check on him. And that's when Kevin Durant plants a kiss on her cheek. The fan is noticeably shocked, and her husband approves. The crowd goes wild over Durant's kind gesture. Safe to say, this is a game she will never forget. David, honestly, Durant has been given a bad rep for all the technical fouls, but when it comes down to it, I think he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, Isaiah, it's funny because these NBA players are elite athletes, but you see something like that, I mean, they're people at the end of the day and they care.
Definitely the right thing to do. Well, that will do it for all of us here at Sports Desk for this semester. Thank you all for watching.
Have a great night and a happy holidays.